So strain energy under axial load. So this is usually used for columns because columns are subjected to axial load. Predominant load in columns is axial load. So what we are doing, we are simply applying the concepts of load deformation. So what we have done, we have taken a member whose cross-sectional area is same, okay, throughout the height or the length. Then its Young's modulus we have assumed. Suppose let us say it is a steel material. So Young's modulus for steel material is 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. Then we are also assuming that it is under equilibrium. Okay, and whatever the external load is applied on this member, it is passing through centroid of the cross section. One more assumption, there is no eccentricity. Okay, so what are the assumptions made here? Constant cross sectional area, then force is axial force, it is not eccentric force. Young's modulus of the material is E, and it is under the equilibrium. Okay, these many assumptions we have made, and uh, as per the concept of stress, if you understand what is stress, mathematically we call it load per unit area. Okay, load per unit area. So I have not shown any free body diagram here. Let me see if it is here in the next slide. Yes. So this is our axial member. I have shown it horizontally. And what I have done is cross sectional area is same throughout the length. I have considered one particular cross sectional area of length dx, if you see here, correct? And when I have applied one axial load here, P, capital P is the axial load. So here uh, there is some deformation which is taking place under the applied force P. So that deformation is small u, if you can see here. Okay, so there will be some increment in the uh, small area or small patch, this hashed part of the member that we have considered. There will be some extension, and it will deform or elongate by du distance, very small distance. Okay, so uh, we are saying that uh, under the action of axial load P applied at one end gradually, the beam, instead of column, we are making it this member horizontal, and we are saying this is beam, gets elongated by small u. Okay, just now I have shown you in the diagram. So how to calculate this small deformation? PL upon AE is what we know. Okay, PL upon AE for the complete member. But we want to calculate small u for small length dx. Okay, dx is the length that we have assumed here, if you see in the diagram, correct? So for this particular hatched portion, how to calculate deformation or how to define strain? What will be strain? It will be change in length upon original length. Okay, how much was the original length of the considered hashed part before the elongation? It was dx. If you can see here, this is length of the small part that we have considered before elongation. So this is original length. Okay, now after the force is applied, how much is the elongated length? So it is du. So how much is the deformation that has taken place for this small part? Du. So change in length is du divided by original length dx. Okay, so that is strain, epsilon, that we say. So we have rewritten this equation of strain as du is equal to epsilon times dx. Okay. Now what is epsilon? Strain. We can relate this strain to axial stress and Young's modulus. So Young's modulus, we know stress upon strain. Okay. So capital E is equal to sigma upon epsilon. So epsilon will be sigma upon E. So simple substitution we have made, and we have again written this equation in the new form. Du is equal to sigma upon E into dx. Again sigma we are saying here P by A. Sigma is P by A. So again we have replaced sigma by this ratio P by A. Okay. So finally we are getting du is equal to P upon AE into dx. Okay. P upon AE into dx. Now what we are doing, we have calculated this small change in the length for the small part considered, but we have applied load on the complete member. So what will be this equation for the complete member? So we will have to do the integration. So we have done that. So if you apply integrations, limits will be obviously from zero length to its total length capital L. So we just have integrated equation 1. So we are getting u is equal to integration from 0 to L of P by AE dx. Okay, this is P by AE dx. Now this is internal work done. Okay, equation 2 that we have got is internal work done. What will be external work done? It will be 1 by 2 times P into U. Okay, that is average uh, work done, average work done. So 1 by 2 times P external load into U is deformation. Okay, so now we have to equate these two terms. Which two terms? External work done is equal to internal work done. That's it. And this is the thing that, but the concept of strain energy. Okay, strain energy. U is equal to half pu, and u is equal to integration of p square upon 2ae dx. So we are getting equation for total strain energy. So what we have done, whatever is equation 2, okay, we have substituted that here, and we are getting the total strain energy as this integration equation. 0 to L limits, and integration is of p square upon 2ae. So this is the result for strain energy due to axial load. So you just need to remember this equation. Strain energy due to axial load p square upon 2ae. Okay. So very simple derivation. I will just repeat again in short. We have considered one small part. Its length is dx. Load is applied, which is capital P. After load applied, we are getting deformation in. Hello. We are getting deformation for the small part, which is du. Now we have gone to the definition of strain or the equation of strain. What is strain? Strain is change in length du upon original length dx. So we have uh, changed this equation and written it again by some small steps, which is du is equal to epsilon times dx. Epsilon is strain, which is related to stress and Young's modulus. So strain is sigma upon capital E into dx. Sigma is again replaced by P by A, which is stress. So P by AE dx. So du is equal to P upon AE dx. This is strain energy for small length of dx. For total length, we need to integrate this equation. So this is total strain energy. After getting total strain energy, we need to equate this to average work done, which is half P into U. Okay, that we can see in equation number 4 here. So whatever the equation we have obtained in step number 2 or equation number 2, that we have substituted in equation 4, and we are getting the total strain energy in terms of external load, which is P square divided by 2AE dx. Okay, once we get this, we are able to analyze the given beam, frame and truss. Now this is for strain energy due to